Hey, what's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fan? This is JB right here, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew, Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine. And for everyone who is tuning in to Behind the Bench, I hope that you support the network and become a subscriber and help this podcast become the best that it could possibly be. Now check it out. The NBA Superteam, right? And I've been following this dynamic, even though I've never got adjusted to it, even though I've never really embraced it or accepted it or liked it, because I never believed it was based on true competition. I always believed it was based on creating a situation to produce the easiest path possible to winning, which ultimately means taking a shortcut. That's how I always viewed it. And you can tell the difference between an actual super team era and what today's influential voices tries to influence the new generation of NBA fans to believe in that the NBA always had super teams. There is a distinct difference between a super team and all-time championship teams and dynasties. Number one, those teams prior to the actual super team era were built, and more often than not, they were built from scratch, from the ground up. Such as, of course, the 60s Celtics, the 70s Knicks, Showtime Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers of the 80s, along with Boston Pride, Celtics with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, the bad boy Detroit Pistons led by Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and the like. And then you had the Chicago Bulls of the 90s, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Dennis Rodman, Kobe and Shaq led Lakers from 2000-2002. San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. Those teams were often built from scratch. And the long-standing championship, or teams that had long-standing championship runs, were deemed and recognized as dynasties. Think about it. Does the actual super team meet that criteria? Do you consider a super team a dynasty? Or even an all-time championship team? Because contrary to popular belief, the super team has a short shelf life. Is because of the way the super team is constructed. It's flawed in nature, because you have to, in order to create a super team, you have to compromise what constitutes a real complete team, and that's the flaw. So if we didn't have this super team era, and this is just a short video right here, if we did not have a super team era, number one, the number one reason why I dislike this era is not about the talent. It's not necessarily even about the style of play. It's about how competition has been devalued, how we truly never got to see who's who, what team was truly the best, what player was really the best. And competition should always be the number one premium, the number one criteria to determine who is the best. That's what this past decade eliminated or greatly minimized. So imagine if the super team era never occurred, because I consider the super team era the lost world, where ironically true history has not been generated. in this era that you feel that is going to last and way beyond the actual result during this particular era. Imagine if the super team never existed. We would have saw more players go to the finals. We would never have seen one player go to 8 straight finals. Michael Jordan never went to 8 straight finals, but yet he has an undefeated record in championship play. A perfect 6-0 record, 6 for 6, right? Kobe Bryant won 5 NBA championships. He never went to 8 straight. Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan won 5 championships. Never went to 8 straight finals. Shaquille O'Neal won 4. Same thing with Shaq. Steph Curry won 4. Same thing with Curry. So imagine what would have happened. This is what I believe would have happened. We would have seen more players, more superstars, elite superstars, lead their teams to the finals. We would have seen multiple teams advance to the finals, particularly in the Eastern Conference. Now, I'm not saying LeBron James would not have went to more than one finals if he had conducted his career as expected, as superstars conducted their careers in the past. What I mean by that, I'm not talking about every superstar played their entire career for one team. I'm talking about trying to seek the easiest path possible by joining alliances with 2 other franchise level players. See, we never seen that before. And ironically, it does not guarantee winning at the end of the day. But we would have seen, I believe, Derrick Rose. I believe one of the reasons why he suffered the ACL injury was because he had to play over extended minutes to ensure that Chicago Bulls would have the highest seed possible, during a season where they were expected to have to face that super team Miami Heat in the playoffs. So as a result, he couldn't rest on his laurels. He couldn't take games off. The Bulls couldn't take games off. And I believe that overexertion led to that injury. That's just me. I could be wrong. But we would have seen Derrick Rose play in the NBA Finals for a chance to win the championship. I believe the Indiana Pacers with Paul George and David West, Danny Granger and the like, George Hill, Lance Stevenson, I believe they would have went to a finals. Toronto Raptors, would they have went to a finals? It's possible. If they did, it would have been 1. But I think the Bulls would advance to at least 2 finals. Indiana Pacers. Boston Celtics may have went to 1 more finals. The Pacers would have went to definitely 1 finals appearance, possibly 2. And like I said, LeBron James, I can see him going to 4 NBA finals in the 2010s. I can see him doing that. Because his team, in Cleveland, truth be told, those teams were stacked in 2009, 2010. The Cleveland Cavaliers had the deepest roster in the league and was deemed the prohibitive favorite to win it all in both those seasons and had the league's best record going into the playoffs, home court advantage. So based on that, his teams were probably more advanced in development than the teams that followed him in the 2010s. Oh, okay. That's who I forgot to mention. I always thought that Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade would make a great tandem if they played together. No problem with 2 superstars playing together. But at the end of the day, I believe the Miami Heat would have went to another finals. I'm talking about conventionally. It'd have been more spread out in the Eastern Conference. That's just my take on it. I will be talking more about this down the line in regards to the super team, why I feel it's been a detriment to the league over the past decade or so. But again, I just want to throw it out there as a quick idea. But this is JB right here. And until next time, this has been Behind the Bench.